Hi guys! So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to rock some of these looks that you're going to be seeing very much in 2019. Some of these trends that were things that we saw on like the runways in 2018 that will be moving over into 2019 and will become everyday mainstream makeup trends. So I'm just going to be showing you guys how you can wear some of these trends in a more everyday kind of way so that it's not as crazy. So keep watching. So for this first look, I'm starting with my base already done, and you just want your base to be basically pretty normal. So I'm taking a brow pomade, and I'm just using that to kind of underline the brows. Because bold brows, like the Instagram brows, yeah, those are going to be out this year. But bushy or natural brows, going to be very in this year. So I'm just using that to kind of outline the underneath of my brow and fill in the tail of my brow. But you don't have to do this if you have like brows that are basically perfect, or if you have brows that are less defined. Just kind of do however you usually fill in your brows. I'm then taking a brow pencil. This is the $1 Billion Brows brow pencil, and I'm just using this to kind of fill in any more sparse areas. So I'm just using that at the front, again, kind of in the top area, and then also in the tail of the brow, just to kind of fill it in, make them look a bit more naturally bushy. This is all, of course, optional, but I'm just doing this step because I wanted my brows to look a bit more full. Then I am taking the spoolie on the opposite end of that and just using it to brush through my brows, and this will help to blend everything in, soften everything up, and just keep everything from looking super harsh and super fake. So always brush your brows with the spoolie. Then I'm taking the Benefit Gimme Brow Gel in the shade 3, and I'm using that just to kind of add some definition to my brows because this shade is not my shade. So I'm using that to kind of just add a little bit of a different color into my brows. Then I am actually using the ColourPop Boss Brow Boss, I think. It's another gel, but this one is kind of a clear one, and it's going to just kind of hold my brows in place. I don't think I even said what look this is. This look is kind of one that I saw a lot on the runway, which is just kind of very bold brows and full brows, and then a bright lip, and not much other stuff. So then I'm taking the Violet Voss Flamingo palette using the shade Sand, and I'm popping that all over my lid. And I'm kind of just patting it in and blending it in because I don't want too much pigment. I don't want too much pigment, but I just want like my lid color to be evened out. I'm then taking a makeup wipe and just removing any kind of foundation that might be on my lips, because we are going to do a very bright poppin' lip, and I find that sometimes foundation being on my lips can kind of just cause a problem, and then I just kind of pat it off the residue. So I'm using the Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in the shade Venezia, I think. Is that how you say it? It looks a lot more pink on camera, but in person it's actually kind of more of like an orange. But yeah, I'm just applying that to my lips. And also, if you guys wanted to, you could add some liner, you could add more shadow, you could even add a layer or two of mascara. I chose not to because I saw I don't remember who it was, but I saw one model who had like bright red lips, really full bushy brows, and just nothing else. And I really liked that look, and that was kind of what I was going for. So this is the final look. And now we're going to go into look number 2. Alright, so for look number 2, that's 4, that's 2. Okay, for look number 2, we're doing a smoked out kind of a look. And I'm just using the ColourPop No Filter Concealer as my eye base. So I'm just taking that, putting it on my eyes. I really like to use this as an eyeshadow base because it kind of dries down to a like semi-matte kind of finish, so I don't have to powder it. And I recommend not powdering a eyeshadow primer because then that kind of takes away from the point of it being tacky and being an eyeshadow primer. But I don't like when they're too sticky, so this one's kind of perfect. So I'm just waiting for it to dry down a little bit. And then I am taking the BH Cosmetics Sylvia Ganny palette, which is like my favorite palette at the moment, and a fluffy blending brush, also from BH Cosmetics. I'm taking the shade Underrated, just tapping off any excess using this very lightly, and applying this to the crease and outer corner. I'm using a big fluffy kind of a blending brush because I want the color to be very soft, But yeah, and this is a cool toned kind of a gray shade, and you want to use cool tones for this look, preferably. You want to use cool tones for this look because the smokiness we're going to do, it would kind of just look a bit odd if you did like a yellow or orangey brown as your transition shade. But you can do whatever you want because this is all kind of up to you. There are no rules to makeup. But I'm using that. Then I'm also taking a kind of like a hotel card. I recommend a business card or a playing card though, and a denser blending brush. And I'm taking the shade Hazel from the Sylvia palette, which is kind of like a nice dark green. And I'm using that card to kind of give myself like a stencil almost for the outer corner of my eye, just so that I have a really sharp line. And I'm just using that as kind of like a general outline. I'm not like going by that completely, but just giving me a little bit of something to work with. So I'm putting that on the outer corner and into the crease, doing the same thing on the other side. But yeah, so with this look, I kind of saw a lot of people doing very dark, smoky eyes and a bright lip. And it was kind of a bit much because it was like black all the way out to the temples. And so I wanted to do something that was similar, but not quite as harsh. So I'm just doing this, going in with the shade Hazel, which is a green, and you'll see what I do next. I'm now taking a dense shader brush, also from VH Cosmetics, and I'm going into the shade Night Owl, which is kind of like a grayish purpley, I think, is the best way to describe it, but it's kind of like a gray. Again, using that card to kind of give myself that little line, and I kind of went in a little bit closer to my eye than, I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't go quite as far out as I did with the green. I'm just packing that onto the outer corner of my lid where the wing is, and then also onto the rest of my lid. And don't worry about this being like super perfect and like completely opaque, because we're actually going to be putting something else on top of this. Also, if you see my lips moving, it's because I'm talking to my mom. But yeah, just don't worry about that being too super opaque. We're then going to take a blending brush, and I'm just going to blend out the edges so that it's not super harsh, because even though we do want that like kind of straight line, we don't want it to be super harsh and look like, it's a straight line. It just kind of we want it to look a bit more structured, but still blended. So I'm just blending that out. And again, with eyeshadows, if you kind of feel like you're losing a color, you can build it back on. That's what I'm doing here. I take Hazel, and I'm just kind of adding that back because I kind of felt like I had lost that green that I wanted. So I just went back in with the blending brush and blended that out. Alright, then you're going to take a liquid shadow. I'm using the one from Wet n Wild. This is a black one, and it's got like silver glitter. You can use anything from anywhere, just as long as it's like black with some kind of shimmer to it. Then I'm using this all over my lid, almost as if I were doing a cut crease, just cutting out the lid almost, but just with this glitter. I'm also flicking out the outer corner so that it also kind of goes into a wing sort of a shape. And then I'm doing the same thing on the other side, just going in. I actually did this side with my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand. Don't recommend that because I did a very bad job, unless you're like good with your other hand, but I'm not. So again, just did the same thing, applied to the lid and on the outer corner. And then once I had gotten a good base, I just went in with my finger and kind of tapped it out, kind of hoping to like bring the sparkles more to the front and get rid of some of that black base. Then I am taking a makeup wipe and just kind of wiping off whatever got too far down on my lid. I'm then taking a pencil brush. Oh, my cat got on the way, sorry. But I'm taking a pencil brush in the shade Hazel and applying that under the eye. Just kind of just smoke out the lower lash line, but you don't want to go like with a super harsh color like a black, but you want to go with something that's kind of still like very apparent and dark in there, but you don't want to go with something that's super like, wow, like black under the eyes. So again, just applying this to the lower lash line and kind of blending it out into that outer corner. I'm then taking the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This is my favorite mascara at the moment. And I'm applying that just to my lashes. And I really love this mascara. like, it takes a lot for mascara to hold my lashes up, and this one does really good. Also, it is sob proof. Like, I've sobbed in this, stayed, didn't budge. Also, ignore that little dot on my cheek. We're gonna get rid of that in a second. I'm using the shade Prince as an inner corner highlight, and then I'm going in with a spoolie to take off the dried mascara that was on my cheek. This is a great way to kind of get off anything that you've messed up. I'm then taking the Ofra liquid lipstick in the shade Havana Nights. This is kind of like a berry tone, I think, I'd say. It's like a kind of a pinky, purpley, reddy color, basically just a berry. So I'm applying this to my lips, and I actually really love the Ofra, like the lip formula for their liquid lipsticks. It is amazing. This one is a bit kind of like, you have to build it up in some areas, but once you build it up, it's actually like pretty perfect. So I'm just kind of cleaning up a few areas, and then that is the final look. Alright, time for look number 3. For this one, I'm starting with my base done, and also for all of these, I'm kind of keeping the brows from the first one. What we're going to do is kind of like those neon colors, and I'm doing one on each eye. So for one eye, I'm doing kind of more of a not natural, but like a less crazy one. So I'm taking a dense shader brush again, and using the Flamingo palette by Violet Voss, and I'm taking this kind of like a light blue shade, I believe it's called Oceanfront, and I'm just packing that onto my lid. Not going above the crease, just going right onto the lid. Don't worry if it looks crazy, just stick with me here. And then I'm using that same shader brush to kind of blend that into the crease. And because the fact that this, the base that we used is kind of still a little bit wet, it kind of makes it like muddy almost, which usually you don't want, but in this case, it's a pretty good thing. Now you could stop here, but I'm taking the Stila Shimmer and Glow, I think, little eyeshadow things. This is in the shade Freedom. It's like a blue glitter, and I'm just lightly tapping that onto the lid. And I just am doing this for a bit more like dimension and glow. What I saw on models a lot was just like kind of like a big circle of color, and it was a bit too much for me. So I'm again going in with the shade Underrated from the Sylvia palette, and I'm using that under my lash line. You don't want to do the same color because then it kind of just looks like you took one color and stamped it on your eye. And especially with the color we're doing next, you don't want to do that. So it's good to add some dimension and use a different color. Again, going in with my mascara, which again, IT Cosmetics Superhero, love this stuff. And so that's kind of like a less neon kind of way of doing this look. So for the next side, I'm using a white cream base on my lid. Again, not going over the crease, just doing it on the lid. And I'm just doing this so that when we do the actual color, it really pops and stands out. So I am then taking the same shader brush, and I am taking this Enchantis Clueless palette. I love this palette, but I don't recommend getting it. It kind of took forever to get to me, so I don't know how sketchy this website is, but I'm taking the shade RSVP, which is kind of like a very bright hot pink, packing this onto the lid. Again, it's gonna look crazy, but trust the process. Also, if you guys wanted to, you could, oh, there's me just saying to pat it and not swipe it. But also, if you guys wanted to, you could just add some winged liner to this, just to kind of like add that extra oomph to it. I decided not to. I just thought that it kind of looked good without it. But anyways, the reason why you don't want to swipe is because if you swipe, especially with that white base underneath, it'll kind of start to mix the two and it'll give you a light pink. Then I'm taking a blending brush and more of a orangey kind of color. This is a shade called Closet. It's kind of like an orangey pink, and I'm using that in the crease. This is just kind of blending out that pink so that it's not just pink and then skin tone, but it's not like going too crazy. I'm then taking the Flamingo palette and the color Donut, which is like a metallic pink shade, the same as the pink that I put on my lid. Just applying that on top. Then I'm taking this light pink shade, which is more of like a glittery kind of thing and less of a shimmer. And I'm just packing that on top as well and then really blending it out because we just want a little bit of that glitter. Taking a pencil brush and using this orangey kind of brown shade and applying that to my lower lash line. Again, you want dimension, and if you did pink under the eye, it would kind of look like you had pink eye, which not the look we're going for. We're going for something colorful but very trendy and wearable. Again, applying mascara to my lashes. It Cosmetics superhero mascara. Love it. I also like the Better Than Sex mascara, but there are plenty of drugstore options that are great as well. So just whatever mascara you like, use that. I'm going back in with the Sylvia Ganny palette using the highlighter shade Opal and using that as an inner corner highlight. This is kind of just like a white based kind of glitter, which I love. I'm then taking the Katy Kat matte lipstick in the shade Couture, and I'm putting that all over my lips. This is kind of like a nude, kind of a browny, mauvey color, I'd say. It's like a red undertoned brown. Then I'm taking the other Katy Kat matte in the shade Sphinx, which is more of like a nude pink, and I'm just applying that to the center of my lips just to add some like highlight and dimension. And then that is the finished look. So you could do super crazy or super natural. And not natural. Okay, here's the final look. So for the final look, I'm just taking the shade Wolf from the Sylvia palette, and I'm just patting that onto my lid. For this look, I'd say it's kind of the most wearable. And also I'm just leaving my lips done from how I had them last time. So patting that on, and then I'm taking a blending brush and the shade Channel, or Channel, if you want to say it that way, and applying that to the crease and outer corner just to give some natural dimension and add to the natural shadow of the crease. You can skip this part, of course, but I just wanted to do it. Then with the same brush, I'm going in with the shade October, which is a kind of medium orangey brown, and I'm applying that to the outer corner as well, but not on the crease, just the outer corner. And I'm using the same brush because, again, it's going to be nice and light. I'm using the Sephora eyeliner, and this is a blue one. You can use any color that you want. I just wanted to use this blue one. And I'm doing a super huge wing. You don't have to do this huge of a wing. Whatever you do is up to you. I just went a bit crazy with it. But I saw a lot of models doing this. I think Pat McGrath actually did a look for one of the runways, and it was like a huge green liner. I loved that. So I thought that doing this but with like a blue would be nice. I've also done this with like a pink or a yellow, but there are plenty of colors. A dark blue is one that's kind of easy to slide into and get into the trend without like overdoing it. But I liked this light blue one, and it's something I had, and the Sephora ones are really cheap and actually pretty nice. So I'm just adding that on, and then I'm going to add some mascara in a second. And we are done. That is the finished look, and that is all 4 of them, and I hope you guys actually really enjoyed these. I hope you all enjoyed all of these little mini 2019 how-tos. And I hope you'll have a wonderful 2019, and I hope that you guys do some of these looks, and I hope that this was helpful for you. And if it was, maybe you can subscribe, because I'm going to definitely be making more makeup videos and maybe some other types of videos on this channel, and I'm super excited for that. So if you would like to see more of that, definitely subscribe, and if you want to get notified every time that I upload, you can hit the little bell button that is right there, I think. Is it there or there? I'm not sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and let me know in the comments if you think these trends are cool or kind of weird or whatever you guys are thinking, and I will see you guys in my next video.